Hello, my name is Alexandra, and this video is about the yoga terms that I often use in my yoga practice. They can be very confusing, especially for new students, because they sound weird and it's not always obvious what they mean. So I decided just to give you a small overview of what can you hear on my classes and why. So the first term will be obviously asana. Asana is a complex, a sequence of certain movements. For example, sun salutation is an asana that consists of with about 10 to 12 different movements. And asana is like a package of these movements that you go through one by one to achieve certain results, right? To stretch certain muscles. So when you hear asana, it means a sequence of movements that you are about to experience, and it's always very helpful when you try to keep in mind that sequence, that what follows what, because in the future it will be much easier for you to do it almost automatically, step by step, without being distracted and having to watch and pay attention to every movement that teacher demonstrates in the class. The next important term is pranayama. Breathing is super important in yoga. In some yoga practices, it's one of the focus points, one of the key points of the practice. For example, in Ashtanga yoga, which is my favorite one, my practice is Ashtanga practice. Every single move is connected to inhale, exhale, retention of the breath. And it's very important to keep track. Every asana consists not only of the sequence of the movements, but of sequence of inhales and exhales connected to this move. So pranayama, breathing, different breathing techniques that teach you exactly how to control and be aware of your breath is super important. So don't be surprised to hear this word all the time. And there are also different breathing techniques, such as Kapalabhati, Ujjayi, etc. You will be introduced to them during the yoga practice, yoga classes, depending on what kind of class it is and what is the teacher's preference on yoga techniques, yoga breathing techniques. So Ujjayi breathing, this is the important one that I often use. Ujjayi is the main one that is used in Ashtanga, and it's a strong, very helpful to warm up breathing technique. All you do is you control your breath, you deeply breathe using only your chest. During Ujjayi breathing, the belly stays in, you hold it in as deeply as it possible. You use your chest for slow and controlled inhales and exhales, and you restrict your throat in a way that you can get some sound every time you inhale or exhale. It's also very meditative. Just doing some Ujjayi breathing can help you to relax and calm down if you're stressed. It looks something like that, right? Belly is in, chest is working, throat is restricted, and there is some sound that is always heard. It is amazing when you are in Ashtanga class and everybody is breathing loudly. And in Ashtanga classes, there is often no music, so all the sound that you can hear is a bunch of people making noise. The next term is drishti, and this term is very important when you do asanas that require balance. It's very important when you start to practice the balance position to find some object somewhere that is like a picture on the wall, or maybe a nail on the wall, or maybe something is on the floor, something steady that you can focus your eyes, and this helps a lot to maintain the balance during the balancing asanas. Drishti can be always your nose. In Ashtanga, we use it when it says, find your drishti, and then you look at your nose. It's not moving much, so it's perfect one. And also it's important where you choose your drishti point, because if you turn your head, right, your head can be very heavy. So it's important to make sure drishti choice wouldn't intervene with the right balance during your practice. During my lessons, I like to use the conventional yoga asanas names, because for the beginners it might not be necessary, because usually this name also follows the description of the pose. For example, if I say Parshvatanasana, it's a forward bend, right? In the beginning class, in the beginner's class, I can just say Parshvanasana, and then I say the forward bend, and I describe exactly what to do, how to position yourself on the mat, and what to do next. But in more advanced classes, these conventional yoga poses names, they actually help people to be like, okay, I got what it is, and people right away start to set themselves into necessary position and do the right steps of the asana. And this is amazing. In advanced classes, in super advanced classes, teachers often have to use just these names without further explanation, because majority of students, they know what to do, and if there is someone who's not that advanced, he can look around and just pick up the cues and do the same thing. So I do like to use the names of the positions of the asanas just to prepare the beginner students for the further advanced practice. And this is very helpful, and this is very very preparatory for the further advanced lessons. Okay, let me do my cheat sheet. I also use in my personal yoga lessons, we pay attention to building positive habits and getting rid of negative habits before and after the practice during the day, because I believe yoga is a lifestyle, not just a physical practice. So we like to build habits, and now we have steps and tasks for every day for in the course of maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending how complex the habits is. And we do the same for getting rid of negative habits. So I use term triggers, positive triggers and negative triggers, right? Positive triggers are those things that you do or arrange in your environment to help you remember and work on positive habits. And negative triggers are those things that make you remember and do certain actions that activate your negative habits and lead it to negative results. So when we work on our habit creation or habit deactivation, we use certain actions, we leave certain cues, or we stop certain actions and we remove some cues in order to manage the habit. So this is it for now, and I might make some other video with less common yoga terms. But for now, this is it. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember it in a yoga practice. Thank you. Namaste.